should be, a heated debate. Right. So a beat-based article is basically, you listen to you listen to a music, right? So there is a rhythm that follows. The low of that rhythm is something that should not be captured, and the high of that rhythm is something that is, that you feel good about, and that is what catches your attention, right? Same thing over here in the committee as well. That is, there would be a monotonous debate that is happening in the committee that should not be recorded, whereas there should be a heated debate in the committee, or a debate or an instance that was a turning point in the monotonous debate in the committee, right? So that is something that you would be writing about. So for example, if the delegate of Afghanistan mentions that they do not believe in women rights because they follow Sharia law, now according to the delegate and their policies, they are correct, but the statement was said in the committee, and because of which the delegates had a reaction that they started, saying something in retaliation to what the delegate spoke, that this is not right, this is not the quality that they are proclaiming in the committee, right? So this is a reaction to the instance, to the statement that was said by Afghanistan. So that is what you would be capturing. Why? Because this was a heated debate. This was the heated argument in the committee, right? So that is the beat in the committee. That is how you identify a beat in the committee, right? So see on the screen, you will see a structure that is title. Title should be creative in nature. ये नहीं कि you just copy paste the agenda or the topic over here. Make sure that what you are writing in the article उसके कुछ relevance में कुछ creative eye catching title हो. Why? Because when you read through a newspaper, until and unless the headline catches your attention, you would not be reading the article, right? So the same essence over here. You would be writing a creative title regarding the agenda, regarding the article that you are writing. Then the byline. Byline is basically the writer's name. That is your name. That's it. Nothing more. The very first paragraph, you will mention about the committee. You will mention about the agenda, right? A brief introduction about the same. Secondly, you will mention what happened in that instance. The what, when, why, where, how, the W's and the H. I hope all of you are aware of it. As to what was the statement, what was the the instance, how did that the whole ordeal came into place, and what was the reaction of the other delegates, and why was this statement even said in the very first place, right? And then you will put in quotations what was the statement, what was the other reaction of the other delegates, what were their statements, right? So that is how you will capture the beat in the the second paragraph of the article. Then you will end the article by making a conclusion, that is how did the discussion conclude, that the for example the delegates discussing regarding the topic, the instance, decided that they will discuss upon this later on in the session, in the forthcoming sessions, or that the executive would intervene, and then they all came to a consensus on the topic, right? So that is the concluding remark with that instance. Over here, your opinion should not be present. Basically, whatever that you have witnessed, whatever that you have observed in that debate, in that instance, that is what you are going to put as it is in your article. That is it. No opinion, nothing else, just pure observation, and then the article. That's it. Fine. I hope this article is clear. Moving on. Crucial second article, please. Please scroll down.
Excuse me,
Right.
ma'am.
So there are two doubts. Yes.
Ma'am, will we be assigned the the type of article we have to write a day before only?
No, you would be, given the task list as to what you have to write on the day of the conference. Because I know I'm not saying anything, but I know a lot of the other people will write their articles in advance, right? So that is not something that you would be doing in the conference. I will give you the reporting committee in advance, but the task or the articles that you are going to write would be given on the day of the conference on the spot itself. Fine?
The type of article, right?
Yes.
And ma'am, I have to ask that. I want to ask that on which app we have to write it. Word.
Right. So I'm accepting handwritten articles as well. I know a lot of you may have constraints with not getting digital devices with the conference because of parental permission. But I'm accepting handwritten articles. And but if you have your devices, you can use Microsoft Word or Google document, and then submit your article in the format of a Word document or a PDF. Anything works.
And uses of the effects like underline, italics, and bold are allowed.
Um, until and unless it is, unnecessary. For example, you are writing a creative piece and you want to put an emphasis on an emotion, then you can. Or for example, you are quoting a statement of a delegate, then you can put it in italics. But if you are unnecessarily using it in the article, that is, something that I would be giving negative marks on. As long as it is somewhat relevant to what you're writing, that is fine.
Okay.
Fine. Prachi, yes, there are certain word limits to each and every article. The word limit for every article is different. You will be able to go through the word limits for every article in the background guide itself. In the background guide, everything is mentioned with the sample articles, how you have to write your articles, the word limit for every article, the font size, the font size, what font to use, how to submit your articles, how to formulate your article. Everything is mentioned. Please go through the background guide after the session is over, right? So now we have our opinionated editorial. As the name suggests, it is an opinion based article on the agenda of your reporting committee. So, what happens is that you will be given a topic of that committee, right? So, on that topic, what is your stance on it? Are you for that particular agenda or against it? The opposition and the proposition, right? So, what happens is that, for example, the agenda is Israel-Palestine conflict. So, you read through what is happening right now, right? And you formulate your opinion on it. So, is Israel doing the right thing? Do you think that it is a genocide or not? Do you think that what Israel is doing is as per the human rights or not? Or if there is a violation on the same, right? So those are the questions that you have to, think through yourself first and then make your opinion on it. Are you standing with the person who is taking, basically doing the attack, or the one who is suffering through it? Right? So that is a mindset, that is an opinion that you have to formulate after researching on that particular committee's agenda. And that is what you are going to put in this article as well. The same concept, or the same structure. First of all, the title, a creative title, then the byline, then the introduction about the agenda, a brief introduction about the agenda. Then the second is the opinion, and again your opinion should be in formal language, that is the press believes or we believe, in the third person format. Why? Because again it's a formal article and you are over here as a journalist, even though you are an independent journalist over here, but you have a profession that you have to follow through, and the ethics of that profession as well. So that is why you start your second paragraph with a formal language or this third person pronoun, that is the press beliefs, and then you mention your opinion. That in this article on the screen you will see that it is regarding electoral bonds. So I have written that electoral bonds appear to be a straightforward solution to the political donations, but it is not. So that is my opinion. But then I will back it up with proper facts and figures. In the third paragraph, you will see that I have mentioned the facts and figures to basically back up my argument, right? So, giving another example, if you have seen proper lawyers in a courthouse, right? So, what happens is that they make an argument and then they back it up with, proper, verifiable facts and figures and evidence, right? So, same thing over here. You will make an argument, you will say your opinion in the article, then you will back it up with proper facts and figures. And that is why you have been given a committee in advance to research through. This is your research based article. This is your argument plus the research what you have done your research on. That is what you would be putting to, further strengthen the argument that you are putting forth, right? And then the last paragraph is the conclusion. That is, a unique solution to the agenda. And, if you have written an article to focus on the issues regarding that particular agenda, you will have to have certain solution to it as well. And that is why we have the last paragraph for it. That is your own unique solution to the agenda at hand. Fine. That is your second paragraph. I hope that is clear. Any doubts? Seeing
Ma'am,
none, we'll move ahead.
excuse me,
Yes.
ma'am. Ma'am, but in the start, they said that we have to be neutral.
You can be, but I would not suggest that. Why? Because again, if you had to be neutral, you would have written a research paper or a certain essay instead. Instead, what I want you to focus on in the op-ed is that take a particular stance, either for or against, and then back up your opinion according to that as well. Fine.
Ma'am, an opinionated only.
Yes.
Ma'am, and can we record what the delegates say?
Can we record what?
What the delegates say?
Of course you can, but in the opinionary editorial, the committee's proceedings do not go in. For example, if any other delegate spoke about their opinion in the committee, that is not what you're going to put in the op-ed article. Instead, your research and your opinion is what you are going to put in the article instead.
Ma'am, so that's why there is no mention
So
of the
every single
delegates.
article has different focus on it. No, no. Every single article has their own focus, right? So in the beat-based article, one instance of the committee was what you were going to put, but in the op-ed article, your opinion, your research is what you are going to put, not the
Okay, ma'am.
committee's opinion, not the committee's research, right? Okay, moving on to the next article. Sushil, can you please scroll down?
Excuse me, ma'am. Can we just make notes of
Rude.
the thing we researched?
Yeah, yeah, you can. You can print out your research. You can bookmark your research. You can copy paste your research to anywhere, a single document. That is up to you.
Ma'am, so no marks will be deducted for it, right?
No, no, no.
Okay.
Right. Next, we have our feature article. Feature article is a creative article that you can write on the agenda of your reporting committee. For example, if the agenda is Syrian refugee crisis, then you can write a diary entry from the perspective seeking refuge in another country, right? So again, it's a creative piece. You are free to write whatever you want, but it should only be relevant to the agenda of your reporting committee, right? So you can write an open letter, you can write a poem, you can write advertisements, whatever that you want. You have the creative freedom. The only restriction is that it should be related to the agenda of your reporting committee, right? So if you see on the screen, it is with regards to UNHRC and human rights violation and LGBTQ rights. So I have written a poem with regards to LGBTQ rights and what they are facing through, right? So it's the story of an LGBTQ person living in the country. So it could be an imaginative article, it could be an imaginative poem, diary entry, notes, advertisements, letters, hiring, so on and so forth, but only on the agenda of your reporting committee. Fine. All right. Any questions regarding this article? Any questions? Seeing none, we'll move ahead to the next one. Next, we have our interviews. Interview, if you have seen
Excuse me,
in
ma'am.
the news as well, what happens is that. Yes.
Ma'am, I'm asking in advertisement, how will they show anything related to the committee? As there's no point of advertising something of the committee.
And that is what I'm saying, right? That every other article has their own different focus on it. The beat based article, जो beat based article था, सिर्फ उसमें आपको कमेटी के ऊपर लिखना था, right? Second article, opinion editorial में आपको on the सिर्फ agenda से related आपको कुछ creative लिखना है, right? सो एवरी सिंगल आर्टिकल का डिफरेंट फोकस है एंड सिर्फ कुछ कुछ आर्टिकल्स में ही आपको कमेटी के ऊपर लिखना होगा या फिर कमेटी के रिलेटेड में लिखना होगा. For
Okay.
example, अभी जैसे मैं इंटरव्यू बता रही हूँ, राइट? तो इंटरव्यू में व्हाट हैपेंस इज दैट the delegates in the committee, the secretariat members, the executive board in the committee gets to have an interview, a one-on-one interview. So in the reality, what you will see that in an interview, what happens that a journalist or a reporter asks questions to a person, right? So same concept over here. You will ask questions to a secretariat member that are the organizers of the conference. You will ask a question to the delegate. You will ask questions to the executive board member. That is up to you who you want to decide to interview, or I will specify that and then you will interview, right? But again, the same thing, question answer format or a dialogue format. You will ask a question, they will reply. And again, it could be related to the current affairs, it could be related to the agenda, it could be related to what they have spoken, what they have spoken in the committee, or anything relevant to the agenda itself or MUN in general, right? So you have the freedom to ask questions regarding MUN or the agenda, but do not pry into the private life. That is not what we are academically simulating over here. So instead, focus on the MUN aspect of everything. Fine. And
Ma'am,
after you have taken the interview, you will have to write an article on it as well. That is in the question answer format, as I have put it on the sample in the group as well. Sorry, in the background guide, or you will see on your screen right now as well. Yes, what is your question?
ma'am, can we note down from home that if in case we have got the interview one, which questions we can ask?
For example, you decide that you want to question an executive board member. So you will ask them questions related to their MEN journey or what they have witnessed in the committee right now in the conference, and what are the what are their expectations with regards to the delegates over here. Or if you decide that you want to interview a delegate instead, so you can ask them questions regarding their own country's stance on the agenda, if their own country's policies on the agenda, what they have spoken, if they have, basically said any controversial, a controversial statement in the committee, you can question them upon the same as well. Or if they, have said something very contradicting in nature as well in the committee, then you can question them upon the same. Or anything related to current affairs, anything related to agenda that you can on. Fine.
Oh, okay.
Okay, moving ahead. Rushil, can you please scroll down a bit? That's right. Okay, thank you. We have our committee report. So a committee report is one of the easiest articles that you can write. So for example, you go to your committee, then whatever that you have observed in the committee, that is what you're going to put it as it is in your article. For example, you go to your committee, UNSC, you will see that they're going to give GSL speeches, they're going to give moderated caucus speeches, they will have a banter in the committee as well, right? So whatever that you have witnessed from the starting of the committee, that is what you are going to put as it is in your article, right? So previously क्या था, बीट बेस्ड आर्टिकल में सिर्फ एक इंस्टेंस ऑफ दैट डिबेट आपको पुट करना था. फॉर एग्जांपल कुछ भी हीटेड डिबेट हुई हो कमेटी में, तो वो आपको बीट बेस्ड आर्टिकल में लिखना था. Whereas in the committee report, you will summarize, you will put a summary of the whole day's proceedings into the article itself, right? The same structure, a title, then a byline, then the introduction section where you will put about, give an introduction, a brief introduction about the committee, then the agenda. Then you will move on to what happened during the entire day, what transpired from the training, the GSL, what was the moderated caucus topic, what was the discussion that took place. You will mention two, three statements, then you will mention what were they essentially discussing about. Then lastly, what happens, you will put a concluding remark, as in how did the discussion conclude, that it ended on a good note, that they adjourned for the day and they were going to pass a resolution on the day too, right? So that is a summary of what you have observed in the committee. आपका opinion, your research, your creative article does not matter. Only the the observation of the committee is what you're going to put in your article instead. Fine. I hope that is clear. Basically, a summary of the whole day's proceedings in the article itself. Roshil, the next article, please. Not the next slide. this one next article. Right. Then we have our filler article, right? Now, filler is also a creative article that you can write, but you have more creative freedom to it. For example, जैसे मैंने आपको पहले feature बताया था, right? That the feature was only with regards to the agenda, a creative piece on the agenda, whereas a filler is basically a creative piece with more freedom to related to the MUN, anything with regards to the agenda or anything that has been said in the committee. For example, in AIPPM, generally happens that they have a lot of informal banter in the committee as well. For example, what if Narendra Modi, right? This is a very comical situation. This is a very humorous situation, and तो इसके ऊपर you can write a poem in your article, right? In the filler article, that you will describe how the instance took place, but in the format of a poem. So that is a creative twist to it, right? So you are going to focus on an instance of the committee. For example, how did the UNEP came into being, and then you describe everything one by one or in a step by step guides, or you decide that you want to write characteristics of a good section of the conference, then you will make a listicle out of it, right? Or that you want to simply focus on the agenda and then you write a very simple diary entry, right? So again, more creative freedom, but the only restriction is that their word limit is very low, 70 to 140 words. So the only restriction is the word limit, whereas your creative freedom has the utmostly ability to it, right? Any questions regarding the filler article? Any questions? Seeing none, we'll move ahead. If there are any doubts, please use the chat box or the unmute feature. Let me know. I'll clear all your doubts. All right, next article, please, Roshan. Roshal, are you over here? Yes, thank you so much. Next article, we have our fusion article. As the name suggests, it is a fuse. I would say a merge or a fuse between two articles. So, for example, if I will give you two articles to merge, or you decide that you want to merge two articles, and then you make it into one article. For example, you decide that you want to merge opinionated editorial and a beat-based article. Then what happens is that whatever debated situation or the controversial statement in the committee was said in the committee, you will provide your opinion on it, right? You will write an article on it. Or giving another example, you decide that you will write an opinionated editorial and a feature article. In that case, what happens that you will write your opinion but with a creative twist to it, right? So for example, you write your opinion in the format of a poem, right? So that is how you fuse or merge two articles into one, right? I hope that is clear. So all the other articles that I have mentioned previously in the background guide, any of the two you will have to merge into one. Fine. Moving on, we have our breaking news, the last of the write-ups. That is a breaking news. So, in the news channels or in the newspapers as well, you will have a sequence known as a breaking news. That is a one-liner, eye-catching news that essentially captures the essence of the instance or the debate or the of the event as well, right? So, अगर आपने देखा होगा during COVID, the breaking news that was usually displayed was that 10,000 people died in Maharashtra because of COVID, right? So that is a one-liner eye-catching news. That is informative. That is telling about what has happened. That is something that should be told to the outside world, but is essentially captured in just one line, right? So essential moment in the committee was something controversial, was something that happened in the committee, is something that you will be highlighting as a one-liner, eye-catching breaking news, right? So again, see on the screen the same structure, one-liner breaking news, and there would be around 9 to 10 breaking news in that. Fine. I hope this is clear. That is basically all the articles that you could write. I know it is not humanly possible, and I'm not a tyrant, and I will not asking all of you to write all the 9 articles mentioned in the background, right? Instead, what happens is on the day of the conference, I will allot you all one, 2 to 3 articles that you will be writing itself, and you would be getting ample amount of time to write the articles as well. So for one article, I will be giving you all at least 1 to 2 hours to write your article instead, right? So ample amount of time, only 2 3 articles, and on the day two again two articles, right? So in total 4 or 5 articles you will be writing, and not all the articles, but whatever the articles that you will be writing, you will be getting ample amount of time to write it. So I hope this is very clear. If there are any doubts, go through the background guide once. There is an attached training session, a recorded training session in the background guide itself for your reference. And if you still don't get it, you can talk to me on WhatsApp instead. Fine. So lastly, we have a press conference sequence. So what happens is that on day one of the conference, you would be writing your articles instead, right? But on the day two of the conference, you will be given a time where you can speak to the committee, where you can ask questions to the committee, right? तो आपने प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस इन रियल लाइफ देखी है, राइट? दैट अ जर्नलिस्ट और अ रिपोर्टर आस्क क्वेश्चंस to the person standing in front of them, right? So the same concept over here, that you will be asking questions to the delegates of your committee based upon what they have said in the committee, based upon the agenda, based upon the current affairs, right? So that is essentially what will happen. I'll explain everything as to how the press conference happens, what you will do, how to formulate your questions. But that I will do on the day of the conference itself. For now, just focus on the articles because that is a big chunk of your marking scheme. Whereas a press conference, it is very essential because that is the only sequence where you will be getting a chance to speak to the committee, right? And over here, you are being marked upon, first of all, the quality of the questions, and second is the performance in your questions, how you are asking follow-up questions of the committee, right? But that is something that I will explain on the day of the conference. So for now, just focus on the committees and the resource aspect instead. Fine. Um, Rushil, can you scroll down a bit? Rushil, next page, please. Right. So these are the sample questions that you will see in the background guide. Go through it once after the session is over. Next page, please, Roshan. Right. So in the background guide, there are certain rules and tips that I have mentioned. Go through it. There are guidelines that you will have to follow on the day of the conference, right? So, for example, um, be punctual with regards to the submissions. If you submit your articles late, you would be getting negative markings for it. There are mentions of all the word limits in the background guide. There are mention of all the fonts that you will be using, where to submit, how to submit. Everything is in the background guide. Go through it once. If there are any doubts, let me know right now. The articles that we will write will be on the same topic and of the same type. Yes, the रिपोर्टिंग कमिटीज दैट यू विल बी गिवन इन एडवांस सिर्फ उसी के टॉपिक पे ही आपको सारे आर्टिकल्स या फिर सिर्फ उसी उसी कमिटी के रिलेटेड या फिर रिलेशन में आपको आर्टिकल लिखना है दैट इज इट एंड द टाइप्स ऑफ आर्टिकल्स दैट आई हैव मेंशन इन द बैकग्राउंड गाइड सिर्फ उसी से सिर्फ वही लिखने हैं आपको ऑन द कमिटी और ऑन द एजेंडा नथिंग मोर देन दैट और नथिंग आउट ऑफ इट एज वेल. And could you send this PDF in the group for reference? Yes, we'll send the background guide again in the background in the group chat of the WhatsApp. I'll also send the Instagram page for Xanthron Mun where you can see all the articles and the see all the agendas and the committees. Along with that, I'll give you all the reporting committees only a day in advance of the conference, and then you will prepare accordingly as well. So, this brings us to the end of this particular session, the training session. If you still have any doubts, please let me know. I'm waiting for 1 more minute. Please either type out your queries or just unmute yourself. If there are no doubts, you are free to leave the meeting. Thank you so much for joining. I'll see you on the day of the conference, and I'm always available on the WhatsApp.